World underneath. 5. Long lost treasures. Raincoat is a little restless. He parks the car near an abandoned dock and gets out to open the trunk. An unconscious, frail man, tied up in the fetal position, lies inside. He's none other than Tony, an up-and-coming director who's currently the talk of the town in Lincoln City. He's worth billions, and has mysteriously disappeared while writing his next movie script. He had set a limit for himself when he became a white glove for the Ever Group. Never target public figures. This had kept him hidden for many years. But now, he chuckles. He really should renegotiate his contract with Ever for dumping such a huge job on him. Putting on his gloves, Raincoat takes out a phone from Tony's body. He unlocks it with the man's finger and opens several recording apps, finally finding what he wants in the voice memo. Every audio file has been renamed, probably for ease of access. Each can easily raise the rookie's director's rank on the Ever Group's execution list. It never ends well for people who know too much. Raincoat's finger hovers over the delete button. All he has to do is erase these recordings, throw the phone into the sea, and dispose of this man. Then this job will be over. But an idea springs into his mind. He plays the first audio file. Chapter 2. Audio file number 1. Mo Art Studio. 0513. That'd be great if you don't mind. Recording is a habit of mine I picked up at work. It's hard to keep up with the conversation if you only take notes. Did Thomas tell you? The Deep Space Academy introduced me before. Our team is preparing a fantasy-themed film. We want to use Lemuria as its setting. And they said you're an expert in Lemuria, and you just returned from a trip. Deep Space Academy thinks too highly of me. I'm just a painter. I don't know anything about Lemuria. There's no need to be so humble, Mr. Raphael. I've seen your paintings. The oceans in your work feel alive. It's very unique. Those are just normal pieces. Forget about them. Anyway, speaking of the Deep Space Academy, I heard they recently organized an archaeological team to find the ruins of Lemuria. Why don't you ask them? They should know more than me. They might not tell you too much, though. I heard things don't go too well for them. Anyway, I have stuff to do, so I can't see off. Bye, Tony. Chapter 3. Audio file number 2. Disappearance. 10:41. The archaeological team? Ah, you've got the wrong person, Director Tony. I'm just a handyman. I stayed on the ship and organized the relics during the exploration. I never dived. I don't really know the specifics, and I can only tell you what I saw. The day our ship arrived, on the 20th, I think, Miss Eleanor was the team leader. Her, Fred, Yennefer, and Professor Sean all went down in a submersible. We set up an underwater archaeological base before, and the kind we can stay in for several days. Communication with the surface had always been fine. The plan was to finish and come back on the 4th. But you wouldn't have guessed what happened. The submersible didn't come back until the 11th. A whole week, you see. I wanted to know what happened, but the Deep Space Academy kept everything all hush-hush. Everyone thought that was the end of it. But after that, I heard... Come closer, Tony. We gotta keep our voices down. I heard Miss Eleanor and Fred left the Deep Space Academy after an argument. They were both senior members, so them leaving caused quite a stir. And on the 3rd day, Yennefer disappeared too. Spooky, huh? Gets worse. That afternoon, when I was cleaning up her camera, I found a deleted video clip. Privately altering archaeological records is against the rules, so I immediately tried to contact her, but I couldn't reach her. I tried contacting the others, and only Professor Sean answered. He sounded weird, not energetic at all. and as soon as I mentioned archaeology, he hung up. Oh, would you look at the time? I gotta go. I have lots of reports to catch up on because of that video. I'm super busy. Goodbye, Director Tony. I hope your movie is a box office hit. New audio clip. Memo 1. I was just looking for the source material for the film. I didn't expect to uncover mysterious events involving the archaeological team. I pulled some favors and looked into it. Turns out, Eleanor, Fred, and Yennefer didn't just disappear. They vanished off the face of the earth. It could be because I don't have any investigation skills, but none of them have been home. They haven't responded to messages or answered any calls. No one has seen them leave their house. It's all too suspicious. Creating a Lemurian mystery movie might be better. Missing archaeologists, deleting underwater footage, secrets of the ocean floor. That's quite a synopsis. If I can find out more, I'll have a direction for my script. I need to contact Professor Sean as soon as possible. If he's gone, I'll lose all my leads. Chapter 4. Audio file number 3. Bluefish. 31:37. The sound of a door opening. Tony? Professor Sean, it's an honor to meet you. Are you going on a trip? You're all packed up. I hope I'm not bothering you or anything. No, I'm not. You don't need to address me as Professor either. I'm no longer with the Deep Space Academy. Come in. Thank you. I'll get straight to the point then, Mr. Sean. I'm here about the matter of Lemuria. My team is... I have nothing to say. Everything is recorded in the exploration report. You can ask for it from the Deep Space Academy. I read it already. But I'd rather have a first-hand account from someone who is actually there. It's better for the script. That's why I want to hear your experience when you explored the ruins of Lemuria, Mr. Sean. Is this a test to see if I'm lying or not? I'm a director, not a detective. I can't tell. This is all for a movie script. Even the greatest fairy tales need to be based on reality. Reality? Oh. My sense of reality has changed because of my time in Lemuria. How so? Some things I didn't write in the report because no one would believe them. But if you're making a movie, then pretend everything I say is a story. Please, go on. On the 20th, the day the submersible went underwater, we found a whirlpool. Our navigation and communication equipment malfunctioned, and we lost our way as well as our courage. We struggled for a long time. We were about to give up when, out of nowhere, a school of blue fish appeared. It was a miracle. They must have been messengers from Lemuria that heard our desperation and came to our rescue. They guided us to the ruins. A school of blue fish led you to the ruins? It sounds unbelievable, doesn't it? Even though it happened, recalling it feels like a dream. But in that vast, unnavigable ocean, everything was beyond our current scientific understanding. Excuse me for asking this, but have you taken any medication recently, Mr. Sean? It's fine if you don't believe me, but please don't doubt what I've seen. No, I'm not. It's just, not everyone gets to witness miracles. It's better safe than sorry. Please continue. I'd love to hear more about the blue fish. The life there is sentient. Those blue fish accompanied us through our trip. They were our guides, beacons, companions, and emotional support. Even now when I close my eyes, I can still see them. Is it possible that these fish are some sort of Lemurian machines? Like specifically designed for leading the way, or for some other purpose? No, absolutely not. They were real fish with their own thoughts and feelings, not machines. Fish have feelings? Why would you think that, Mr. Sean? I'm just speculating. There's no particular reason. Okay, let's move on. Could you describe in detail what happened after you entered the ruins? I don't really remember what happened after that. All I can say is, we saw someone in Lemuria. As in another member of the archaeological team? No. But he was dressed like us. You mean a fifth person appeared underwater? I'm not sure. I don't know. Anyway, I can't say anymore. You should go. Mr. Sean, I'm sorry for barging in today. Before I go, though, I have one last question. According to the ship's report, they never lost communication with you. If your communicators were malfunctioning from the start, then who were they getting signals from? The sounds of the door closing. New audio clip, Memo 2. The School of Blue Fish. Makes for a nice visual reference. Professor Sean's account does seem genuine. I don't think he was lying. But who's this fifth person he mentioned? And what does he mean by dressed like us? This is strange. 3 of them are missing, and the remaining one is packing his bags and leaving. Something must have happened. At least the video is close to being restored. Hopefully, I can get more from that. Chapter 5. Audio file number 4. Shadow Underneath. 0751. Hey, Tony. It's been 2 years since the last time we talked. You're a pretty good friend, only remembering me when you need something. On top of that, it's such a difficult task. Do you think IT guys don't have lives? Anyway, whoever deleted this video is really skilled. Do you know how long it took me to restore it? I put off 3 big projects, worked day and night fiddling with this camera, and only managed to restore 1 frame. What's with that face? 1 frame is my limit. The memory card is tampered with. I'm self-taught, so I have no idea how to handle such high-end tech. This is the best I can do. Here's the phone, too. I restored the call history for you. Whoever had this phone before talks really loud. It hurts my ears. Okay, I'll shut up. But you better treat me to lunch sometime. I should be compensated one way or another for my work. New audio clip, Memo 3. I've seen the restored footage. The 5th person who was dressed like them. It was a skeleton. I really wish it was clearer. Wait, is the skeleton holding a weapon? It looks like a protocore weapon. What's going on? Protocore weapons were only invented in the last decade or so. How could this one have appeared in the ruins of Lemuria? Is it possible the underwater city didn't sink naturally? This is fantastic news. No wonder the video was deleted. Right. There's Fred's phone. Chapter 6. Audio file number 5. Conflict. Frederick to Eleanor. 09:18. Hello? Why aren't you answering your phone, Eleanor? I don't care what you're up to. I'm definitely leaving. Nothing ever goes well when it comes to Lemuria. Of course I have no shame. Those protocore weapons had nothing to do with us, but this matter implicates the Ever Group. Do you think we can handle them? And you felt it too. People have been stalking us ever since we left Lemuria. Sean and Yennefer are naive to think that it's Lemuria's god. But you don't seriously believe such nonsense, do you? I'm telling you, someone's spying on us. The video has been deleted. We left the Deep Space Academy, and we've been hiding every day since. We've gone to such great lengths to avoid being captured, so why can't you change your mind? Eleanor, you're endangering our lives if you keep looking into Lemuria. Sure, you can say you did everything and none of us were involved. But would the people from ever believe you? Don't be an idiot. If you still have a brain, then leave Deep Space Academy like the rest of us. Forget about everything related to Lemuria. New audio clip, Memo 4. Fred thinks Ever were the ones stalking them in the ocean. That's impossible. Why would Ever need to tail them? It's the deep sea. It's pointless. And Fred clearly said he was going to leave, but now he's missing. Did he disappear on his own? Or did Ever... Law and Order is just a fool's dream. Tony, what a coincidence. Didn't expect to see you here. Do you want to talk about Lemuria? Who are you? The clip ends with a cacophony of noise. Then a notification pops up on the screen. End of recording. He had dug up the protocore weapon buried deep within the ruins. No wonder he got on Ever's execution list. Raincoat loosens his tie. Just as he's about to toss the phone back into the trunk, a flame materializes on his palm. The phone's shattered screen crackles in the firelight. Nice! I got both the person and the evidence in one go. The voice is as silky as brocade. He turns around to see someone in a suit and leather shoes approaching him from the far end of the dock. No wonder you're still alive and working with Ever, despite uncovering so many secrets. The scent of the ocean brushes past him. Raincoat freezes, his mind racing. Behind him is the sea. While he's been looking at where the man is standing, could he have come from the sea? Are you Raphael? Putting two and two together, he makes an educated guess. You know this Tony guy is really unlucky to get on a hit list for a film. And you're right about how it's dangerous to know too much. Raphael sits down next to the trunk, sighing at the sight of the director being bound and gagged. He turns and glances at Raincoat's hands. Same goes for you. The more dirty work you do, the less you can hold on to these gloves, yeah? Raincoat understands. He knows a lot more about Ever than Tony. Who knows? He might be next. This mysterious artist who recently returned to the country has countless connections with Lemuria. His sudden appearance here isn't just to sigh and say hello. Thank you for the reminder, Mr. Raphael. Do you have any advice? Well, since you're just in this for the money, why don't you work for me and give yourself a way out? What do you want? Raphael looks out to the ocean, his gaze seemingly penetrating the depths of the water. Ever has an execution list. Those on it either die or disappear. I want a copy for it to be destroyed. Add a few more names to it. Raincoat waits for Raphael to make his request, but then he mentions a single name. A girl? If her name is on that list, then give everything about her to me. He's just a pawn. The complete list only exists in the hands of that person. Watching Raphael's confident demeanor, it's evident he knows the trading partner isn't Raincoat himself. After weighing his options for a moment, Raincoat feels like this is a good deal. After careful consideration, he handed an address to Raphael. Mr. Raphael, Someone will be waiting for you here tomorrow night. Whether you can obtain the list depends on your negotiation skills. The nest? Raphael glanced at the address briefly before conjuring a flame in his palm and devouring it. The lights there are blinding. Doesn't the person behind you feel the same? Raincoat didn't respond and changed the topic. Is the girl on your list your enemy? I'm just an artist. I don't have enemies. She's my lover, you know. It's almost hard to believe his honesty, but Raincoat has no intention of delving deeper into this artist's confusing life. You're more than just an artist, Mr. Raphael. By the way, did you know you're also on the list? You're ranked 6th. Raphael doesn't say anything about it. He just frowns, discontent. Seriously? Why do I have to have such a low rank? I thought I'd be first. At Raphael's nonchalant attitude, a curious inkling begins to form in Raincoat's mind. He thinks of the mysterious deaths, the rumored sea monster murders that once shook other cities. Then, he thinks of the many outsiders the Ever group called research samples that he and other Raincoats had dealt with. After thinking for a few seconds, Raincoat calmly asked, Mr. Raphael, I presume you have your own list. What's my ranking? Raphael waves his hand. You won't make it onto my list for a while. Maybe one day, though. By the way, let the director go when he wakes up. It's better if you have less blood on your hands. Raincoat shrugs. Then, here's to a successful partnership. Should we shake hands? I need my hands for painting, so no. Raphael shakes his head, stands up, and walks away. After a few seconds, he stops as if he remembers something. He stares at the raincoat on Raincoat. This doesn't suit you. He waves and completely disappears from the Raincoat's sight. Raincoat is silent for a long time. Then he removes his wrists to put on the hood. I bought it yesterday. World Underneath. 6. Sealed in Dust. Chapter 1. Whispers. The door is slightly ajar. A young man wearing a duckbill cap snorts, pushing the door open with a finger. His steps kick up dust, and the sound of his shoes hitting the ground echoes in the empty room. At the window, a man in a raincoat turns his head when he hears the noise. He pulls back his pointed hood. Long time no see. You look older now. Have you gone blind as you kept an eye on Ever? The man with the duckbill cap retorts, his voice surprisingly old sounding compared to his appearance. He hands over a black briefcase. Here are the goods. An explosion site's striking scent still lingers, rushing into his nose. The man in the raincoat frowns. He pulls out a clean handkerchief from his pocket and wraps it around his hand to pinch the corner of the briefcase. He gives it a couple of shakes before opening it. 4 slightly yellowed pages unfolded before him. They quietly tell a story from 14 years ago. Chapter 2. Unicorn. Subject Anomalies Record. Recorder, Josephine. Gaia Research Center. Unicorn Team. Researcher/team leader. Date. Observation number 5. Day 42. Anomalies. Subject 001 regained vital signs after death. Details. Subject 001, female. Eval in Hansen class. Day 41 of observation. 2:00 a.m. For some reasons unknown, suspected to be the researcher's mishandling of the subject's energy values rapidly increased and peaked at 2:39 a.m. It resulted in a powerful energy burst within her body. No casualties or equipment was damaged. All vital signs disappeared after the explosion. Day 42 of observation. Today. 4:00 p.m. Vital sign monitors suddenly restarted and slowly transmitted data again. Heart rate, breathing, and brain activity resumed. Not only did subject 001 appear to be alive again, but the energy values also returned to normal. A comprehensive physical examination revealed a newly created, unidentified substance in her heart. Experiment notes. Last night's incident was like watching a planet evolve and be reborn via an explosion. The substance in her heart is composed of an unknown element. We've never seen it before. When the data was released, the team applauded and cheered, but I wasn't as excited as I imagined myself to be. My intense curiosity overshadowed the joy of achievement. If she has a non-existent element, then what kind of existence is she? Outside the observation room, Leon asked what we should call this element before we had the right to name it. Everyone gathered around him, and ether became the most popular, irresistible candidate. Using that, the unidentified object in her heart, composed of ether, was dubbed as an ether core. After calming down from the excitement, we began to look at her resurrection. Leon quietly asked me if this could be considered a resurrection from death. Everyone knew very well that the best way to study her resurrection was to kill her again. If she woke up once more, then we could confirm that she truly is a unique miracle of life in this research center. She's just like a mythical creature long sought after and believed to exist only in our imagination. A unicorn. A fantastical, beautiful creature. A box for collecting votes was placed in the corner of the lab. I passed by it several times, unable to give a vote of approval. I know experimentation is a necessary process. She holds too many secrets that are worth researching and carries an unpredictable amount of energy. Yet despite my desire for knowledge, I still can't ignore the fact that she's a child. Chapter 3. Observation Log. Observer, Josephine. Entry number 1. Unicorn became the child's name in various reports, replacing the cold designation of Subject 001. Only Leon insisted on calling her Little Bomb. She was like a newborn creature, exploring the world every day using only her primitive instincts. After her resurrection, her cognitive and memory of her previous life were erased. To reassess her abilities, I gave her picture books and cards with words. She quickly passed my tests with flying colors, performing better than children at her age. She absorbed and understood information faster and more thoroughly. If she were in school, she could easily be a 5th grade student. Entry number 2. In terms of the eVol experiment, we could only hypothesize from a numerical perspective. Before she used eVol of her own accord, no one could be sure how the resonance eVol would manifest. Only once did she use resonance unconsciously. The target and range were unclear. Leon has the acoustic transmission eVol. That day, everyone heard him talking on the phone with his girlfriend as if he were a broadcaster. Entry number 3. Following the voting results, we began our experiment to kill Unicorn in an observation unit yesterday. We also prepared emergency measures. The same situation repeated itself. The energy inside of her was stimulated to peak faster than last time, which led to a more intense energy burst. It even spread outside the observation unit. Subsequently, all vital signs disappeared, and she entered a state of death as we typically understood it. The shrill alarm of the life detector went off. and I realized my right hand had been tightly clutching the back of my left hand. My forehead was also covered in sweat. I was worried the child would never wake up again. But this is a research center. Being attached to a test subject is prohibited. This morning, under the ether core's influence, she opened her eyes again, as expected. Leon breathed a sigh of relief. So did I. I wanted to apologize to the child, but I knew that for her, who had woken up again, the world was a brand new place. She doesn't remember any of us. However, what was more intriguing than her blank slate of an emotional state was the ether core's energy in her heart. With the reawakening of her consciousness, it had become stronger. Chapter 4. Post-Catastrophe Journal. Day 49. Post-Chrono Rift Catastrophe. Sunny observations on Unicorn had yet to enter Phase 6 when the Chrono Rift Catastrophe changed the world. The Gaia Research Center couldn't escape the destruction. When I was rescued from the ruins, the child was nowhere to be seen. She might have escaped when the observation unit was smashed. The Evol police who had helped in the rescue effort said that they hadn't seen the child I described. I imagined many possibilities, but I was certain she was alive. Days after the disaster, I finally found her in a shelter. When I took her hand, I heard her call me Grandma. I never taught her that term, nor had she ever called me that. She didn't recognize me either. The days in the research center had once again disappeared from her memory. Yet the seemingly instinctual trust and closeness she showed made me feel as if those forgotten days were always there, invisibly linking us together. I asked her if she wanted to come home with me. She smiled and nodded. In the research center, the moment I pushed her into the observation unit felt like a horrible nightmare. Now, holding her soft hand felt like I grasped a redemption bestowed by fate. Day 75. Post-Chrono Rift Catastrophe. Sunny. Our lives have calmed down, yet she still forgets things from time to time. Her memory is like a faint signal, intermittent and sometimes wavering. So, I took the responsibility of a true guardian and cared for her. I don't know how to describe my current feelings. I never had a child, nor did I ever imagine having relatives. It's always just been me at home. But with her and things have changed. Chapter 5. Journal Entry 4. Day 134, Post-Chrono Rift Catastrophe. Sunny. Her condition has improved a lot recently. She's less likely to forget things. Perhaps it's because her condition is stabilizing. But I'm still worried and want to check her and the ether core. However, I'm unable to contact the researchers who knew of her existence back then, including Leon. Strange. Maybe Ever's research center called them, or I don't know. Looking back, Ever's investment in Gaia wasn't a simple research. Our life-formed observation project was not just for observation. There must be a bigger scheme. At this point, the only person I can turn to is Dr. Noah. In the field of cardiology, he's the leading expert and the only one I can still trust. The data after checkup shows the energy peak in her heart is only half of what it used to be. What happened to this child when she faced the Chrono Rift catastrophe alone? When I subtly asked her, she shook her head, showing neither pain nor sadness on her face. Seeing her reaction, I suddenly felt that maybe forgetting isn't such a bad thing for her. Chapter 6. Dust. Is this it? Having gone through all the pages, the man in a raincoat appears slightly unsatisfied. Don't be too greedy, the man with the duckbill cap snarled. This is enough for you to confirm her identity and role. You silenced Josephine and retrieved the research material from back then. Good work. The man in the raincoat tosses a vial to the hat-wearing man. He tucks the pages into his bag and returns the briefcase with 2-finger push. It stinks. Be careful walking around with it. Otherwise, sharp-nosed hunters might follow its scent back to you. Then you better be careful with your handkerchief. When it's tainted with that, you won't make it out either. After checking that drug is the correct one, the hat-wearing man's lips curl into a smirk, his old voice trembling slightly with excitement. When are you planning to make your move? Why should we rush? Her powers aren't complete yet. Besides, the man in a raincoat pauses, glancing outside the window. Your Prince Xavier has been glued to her side, watching over her, right? I've been curious for a while. Do people still practice fraudulism where you're from? Isn't that regression in a sense? Xavier can only guard her for so long. He's too busy dealing with his own issues, the hat-wearing man says, eagerly stepping forward. Don't say I didn't warn you. It's not just Ever who wants her. Strike first to gain an advantage. The one who strikes first is helping the cultivation. The man in a raincoat ignores him, pulling over his hood over his head again. If you can get rid of Xavier in the process, you'd be doing us a big favor. Isn't internal struggle your specialty? Kill Xavier and let Ever crown you as prince. Arrogant laughter is abruptly cut off as a thin beam of light cuts his neck. Blood spills out as a wrinkled hand grabs his coat and lifts him. I can't kill Xavier, but I can do more than deal with a 2-legged carbon-based monkey like you. You... kill me, then. How long can you survive in this era? The man in a raincoat faintly smiles, his trembling fingers pointing at the drug in the hat-wearing man's hand. Then, a scoff resounds in his ears. He's thrown into a corner. Tell your masters that they better get their hands on her fast. Based on my experience, her existence isn't as simple as observation records suggest. The man lowers his hat and turns to leave. If you keep stalling, Ever will end up losing more than they bargained for once she develops. Footsteps fade into the distance. The door is slammed shut, leaving the man who's wearing a raincoat lying in the rubble. Acting all high and mighty. Backtracker's my ass. By seniority, I'm your ancestor. He staggers to his feet, brushing off the dust off of him. Fortunately, the substance mixed in the drug hasn't been discovered yet. According to Ever's plan, if they can control that backtracker with the drug, then controlling Xavier shouldn't be far off. He will soon beat other raincoats, enjoy the real plan. Ever Group has always valued talent, such as useful Lightblade. They can't let it break so easily. Since Unicorn's power isn't complete yet, it's perfectly fine to let her absorb some power, Xavier's especially. Letting his Lightblade serve her and becoming the strongest weapon in her hands is something the Resonance Evol can easily achieve. Xavier will surely give her every bit of himself. With these thoughts, the man wearing a raincoat can't help but be moved, pulling out a handkerchief to wipe the corner of his eyes. Love truly is a wonderful thing. World Underneath 7. With Light. Chapter 1. A more important matter. The office is quiet as night falls. Tara tiptoes past empty desks, her eyes drawn by the faint hum of electronics to a bunch of old monitors in the corner. Nero, she whispers. Everyone's at the team building retreat. Why don't you join them? Tara taps the back of the monitor and leans against the window. She crosses her arms. After a second passes, the screen flickers and a single word is heard. I told Andrew that if you showed up, you'd be buried in brand new Wanderer data for the next month. And you'd even get to visit the Wanderer Sampling Center in person. He was willing to give this seal of approval. The response wavers this time. Tara can't help but feel more confident. There's a team building event tonight, and Tara's on a mission. A bet, actually. The prize? Afternoon tea with the loser paying for a mountain of fees. Everyone's convinced Nero, the opposite of a social butterfly, won't show up. Everyone except Tara. She believes she has a knack for persuasion. And with Andrew on her side, her odds are looking good. It's such a good opportunity to bond with people, you'd be crazy to miss it. 3, 2, Half of Nero's face peeks out from behind the monitor. Terror and excitement hilariously battled with each other in his eyes. Just as victory seems within reach, a notification erupts from his phone. Nero grabs it, his face draining of color as he reads it. No, I'm not going. Tara's smile evaporates as Nero makes a beeline for the exit. What could possibly be more important than a chance to see a rare wanderer closely? The answer arrives like a fly on her phone. A notification pops up from the group chat called Spilling Tea, and it's a bombshell. Lincoln citizens are holding another poll for their top 10 hunters. After 7 days, will that man still reign supreme as the strongest hunter? The pieces fall into place for Tara. When it comes to Nero, there's only one thing that takes higher priority than a visit to wanderers. His unwavering worship of Lumiere, the legendary hunter. Chapter 2. Sleepless Friday Night. 7:28 p.m. Nero slams the door to his home, turns on his computer, and rubs his hands together in anticipation. There are 32 minutes left until the Lumiere voting begins. He could easily rig the whole thing with his tech skills, but that's not how he works. Nero believes in the awesome power of the light itself. Suddenly, a series of swooshes pierce the air. Nero jumps. It is the unmistakable ringtone from his phone, the iconic sound of the Hunter's Lux's entrance straight from Super Hunter's Super Lux Special. It's time to become his alter ego, the leader of Lumiere's ultimate fan site. Chief, it's a disaster. The site's been hacked. Quantum Bro, another rumor mill is starting. Lumiere hater alert. Chief, check the top comment. Nero opens the meticulous maintained Light Chaser's website, his heart sinking as an unfamiliar post appears on the homepage. A deep breath buys him a moment to compose himself. He is a warrior preparing to face a great adversary, a troll. The post is a monstrosity. An indiscernible figure wearing a Lumiere outfit lurks in the dark corners of a grimy N109 zone alleyway. That unmistakable mask leaves no doubt about who it is. Lumiere. Bold text screams across the top of the page. Lumiere, a deceiver unmasked. His 7 sins revealed. The first sin is deception. Tragic. Where's the ultimate beauty beneath the mask? Here's the security footage. A burst of light transforms into a hooded figure near a florist's. It's enough to send shivers down anyone's spine. After all, anyone with the light evolve is incredibly rare, and this hooded guy has the same physique as Lumiere. It's uncanny. And when he lowered his hood, he had a face edged with wrinkles. It's a stark contrast to the youthful image of Lumiere that everyone imagined. Decades of heroism would leave him middle-aged at least, right? Still. A blurry video sits at the text. The wrinkles catching the streetlights, illumination in a way that makes Nero shudder. Voting is only a few minutes away. Nero springs into action. His fingers fly across the keyboard, bypassing the city's security system, and access the raw footage from that location. The Light Chaser flashes a confident smile. As the revered leader of the Light Chaser's website, his data wrangling skills are legendary, even though he never shows up for their offline events. A calming message flashes across the site. It's okay, everyone. I'm on the case. Quantum socialite. Actually, a frame-by-frame analysis confirms that geezer in the video isn't Lemire. Here's why. 1. It's clearly he's built differently. Lemire's got a superior physique. 2. This guy walks like a sack of potatoes compared to Lemire's graceful movements. 3. And here's a deep dive into the evol particle readings. The color and amplitude aren't even close to Lemire's signature. Check the pinned video for a full breakdown. Truth prevails. 4 o'clock a.m. Nero, sporting some serious eye bags, finally catches a glimpse of dawn light seeping through the curtains. Exhaustion crushes over him like a welcoming wave after he spent a night defending his hero. A small smile graces his lips. Justice was served. Chapter 3. The Introvert Bites Back. The second sin is pride. Ridiculous. Does Lemire even care? A new day. A new sin to expose. Let's hear what this old light chaser has to say. Here's a disgruntled voice, distinguished by a voice changer, ranting about a night of dashed hopes. That year, an insider tip promised Lemire's appearance at a grand opening of Azure Square. Thousands of fans shivered in the spring chill only to be left disappointed. This self-absorbed guy doesn't deserve their devotion. A memory flickers to life. Nero, a scrawny 10-year-old back then, when the high-speed railway was a dream, remembers his dad planning a grueling 7 to 8 hour drive to Lincoln City. According to a rumor, Lemire would appear at Azure Square. But the Hunters Association dispelled this rumor, so he stayed at home. Something was off. Even the association wouldn't have Lemire's personal info. Where did this insider tip come from? Nero activates his expert mode and scours the web for traces of this old rumor. Finally, buried in an outdated private forum's back-end database, he stumbles upon a message. We must construct the illusion of truth. Spread the rumor, and we can force Lemire to show up. Quantum socialite. Actually, the Hunters Association issued a notice 3 days before opening. They said Lemire wouldn't be attending. It's on their website. Now, let's talk about real pride. These chat logs clearly show people were spreading rumors even after the official announcement. They were basically trying to guilt-trip Lemire's fans and forcing him to appear. Those people don't deserve to be light chasers. Just as Nero wraps up his digital investigation, a blast from the past pops up. It's a message he sent to the Hunters Association in his younger days. I really want to meet Lemire. And nestled among a few responses is a gem. Instead of looking up to the light, why not become a light that illuminates the world for others? The memory sparks familiar warmth. It was the summer he decided to become a hunter himself. The third sin is sloth. Shocking. Lemire actually sleeps with wanderers? You thought Lemire was different. Here he is, sharing a cozy nap with the enemy. Look closely. Doesn't that glow next to the hurt knave look familiar? The photographer claims as he stumbles upon the scene. Lemire supposedly vanished the moment the picture was snapped, and this incriminating evidence was left behind. Quantum socialite. Talking about wanderers in front of me is like teaching a fish how to swim. As an Intelligenita-type wanderer, hurt nav can influence the human psyche. Being attacked by a hurt nav means the victim can be trapped in an illusion. It's extremely dangerous. But if you look closely at hurt nav's hands, you see light cuffs. The crystalline blade has also lost its shine, indicating its protocore energy has been depleted. By the way, this photo was taken at 2:37 a.m. While we were sleeping, Lemire was out there battling wanderers to protect us. He must have been exhausted from his efforts. He wanted to rest after his victory. But he was disturbed by you, an unethical photographer, and had to leave. It can be chilly at night. Please cover Lemire with a soft blanket next time to keep him from catching a cold. Nero hammers away at the keyboard, frustration fueling his fingers. But there's a flicker of hope. The photo of the hurt Nav is undeniably real, and the curled-up figure sparked a strange joy. He doesn't know why the flash of light that supposedly belongs to Lemire feels familiar. It reminds him of a similar light he saw behind the monitor at the Hunters Association. It was but a fleeting moment when he was alone. Where did that light come from? The next 3 days drag on. The remaining accusations, structured and seemingly logical, crumbled away under scrutiny. Nero blasts through them with official data from Hunters Association's public platform. There was no need for his expert skills this time. The fourth sin is greed. This post claims Lemire hoards protocores and secretly auctions them off to the black market after conveniently finding them in battle. Lemire's presence leads to unrecycled protocores. But the Association's protocore tracking platform exposes this lie. The cores in question were destroyed after the Wanderer encounters were confirmed. The fifth sin is envy. This claims Lemire often hacks the hunting leaderboard on the Abyssal Chaos Forum. By baiting challengers with fake top spots, he eliminates them to steal their protocores. But it turns out, Lemire helped apprehend the Tenbere the Association had been chasing for years. The sixth sin is violence talks about the recent Tezcatlipoca subway sighting and the Azure Square attack. They were elaborate hoaxes set up by Lemire's team to make him more popular. The other person fighting alongside Lemire is the true mastermind. It's a money-grabbing scheme to push Lemire into the top 10 hunters and allow him to rule the hunter's world with an iron fist. Quantum socialite. 6 days, huh? I'd like to thank the troll for stirring the pot. While your last accusation was all over the place, it did give me a chance to showcase Lemire's heroism to everyone. It was even greater proof that he is the ultimate role model. But amidst the flurry of denials, Nero obtains a detail from some classified documents. Whether it's the destroyed protocores, Tezcatlipoca's return, or the Azure Square attacks, all of these events involve one person. His constantly absent colleague from Alpha Team, Xavier. Nero starts piecing together a theory about this mysterious teammate. But compared to the bombshell of the seventh day, they're nothing. Chapter 4. Has the light vanished? Nero stares at the screen. The words, "The seventh sin is death. The light has faded," burn themselves into his retinas. This isn't the dramatic takedown he expected. It's just a few leftover documents, but their content hits him hard like venom coursing through his veins. He feels nauseated as he reads them. Light evol has been detected? Evolver's evol limit cannot be defined? Any attempts to probe its limits trigger a special neck suppressor, which prevents the evolver from using their full power. The techies can't explain it. No physical form detected, no scars. And the energy suppression field acts like a protofield anomaly. After conducting a series of experiments in the lab, the techies finally unraveled the suppressor's mechanism. They boosted its threshold and got a basic understanding of some of its mechanisms. Below is a text of close-ups of someone's throat. The evil suppressor pulsating as its vicious, constrictive red ring of light. And then, there's a bit of silver in the corner. It's a tassel earring. Nero's breath hitches. He knows only one person who would wear that. The site explodes. Thousands tag Quantum socialite and demand answers. Others mock the blind faith in the light. Their words pierce Nero's insides. This information isn't in his meticulously curated Lemire archives. Panic claws away at him. The empty Alpha Team office makes him feel colder. He bites his lip. His fists are clenched, and he breaks out in a cold sweat. No matter how deep his breaths are, the hunter's watch on his wrist keeps sounding a health warning. Xavier has been going to the office more than usual. He's meeting up with someone, maybe. He scans the room as an incessant beeping reaches his ears. Following the sound, he finds Nero, whose eyes are red and teary. "Did something happen?" Xavier asks, his gaze fitting between Nero and the screen. Nero slowly lifts his head and glances at his colleague that he rarely sees. He wants to ignore that question, but the photo on his screen, the captured Lumiere radiating an unshakable serenity, triggers a tsunami of emotions he's been desperately trying to hold back. "Did something happen? Why are you asking me that? Look at this. Do you even recognize him?" He practically throws the screen at Xavier, who raises an eyebrow and leans back a little. "See the earring? That's Lumiere. Lumiere could be dead." "Oh," Xavier nods. "Maybe you should go home." Go home? We don't even know if he's alive, and you want to just go home? Replacing the beeping is a shrill alarm that pierces the tense silence. Nero's breathing quickens, and hyperventilation threatens to take hold. Xavier quickly grabs a paper bag and offers it to him. He tries to offer a few words of comfort. "Calm down. He should be okay now." Nero glares at Xavier, his gaze capable of melting glaciers. He snatches the paper bag and buries his face in it. His shoulders slump, and a defeated sigh escapes his lips. You don't understand him at all." Chapter 5. A Little Chat. 2 weeks of nail-biting anticipation finally culminates as the latest top 10 hunters list is released. Surprisingly, Lumiere reigns supreme once again, with even more votes than the previous years. But a new name throws a curveball. Quantum Socialite rocks into 10th place and sports an official Deep Space Hunter logo instead of a personal photo. Who is this mysterious hunter? Is he even real? The public doesn't seem to care and showers Quantum Socialite with votes anyway. The bold colors and flashy design, this Intelligenita type wanderer perfectly captures the spirit of today's youth. Especially the Hurt Nav, with its crystalline blade, supermodel-like figure, and creepy, hollow face. It's mesmerizing. I hope your company seriously considers launching a line of Wanderer plushies. They'd be a hit. Trust me. After sending his 40-second feedback email to Twinkle Toys, Nero puts his phone away and stands outside the training room. Xavier walks out, and Nero takes a deep breath. He stops him. "Hey, I overreacted last time. Sorry about that. And Xavier, I think I figured out one of your secrets. It's okay if you want to deny it, but hear me out?" A flicker of confusion crosses Xavier's face. He waits for Nero to continue. "The protocore incidents that involve Lumiere? Tezcatlipoca? Azure Square? I know the truth." "You're Lumiere." A hint of surprise appears on Xavier's brow. Nero leans closer to him, a triumphant smirk on his face. "Lumiere's ultimate fan, right? You pulled some strings for that movie gig, didn't you? I get it. You're a real light chaser. But you don't need to confess. You can pretend this never happened if you want." Xavier's expression softens, and a small smile plays on his lips. "Thanks. No worries. Lumiere's scoop drops are coming your way as soon as I get them." Nero watches Xavier walk away, a whirlwind of emotions swirling in his chest. What kind of connections does this guy have with Lumiere? Regardless, Lumiere's legacy will keep inspiring others, one group at a time. With his renewed purpose, Nero opens the Light Chaser's websites and creates a new post. Pinned by Quantum Socialite. Lumiere is a beacon in the darkness, guiding us to forge ahead. And I believe, with the unwavering certainty, that his light will continue to shine in the future, because there's light everywhere. World Underneath. 8. Micro-Universe. Chapter 1. Art Appreciation and Criticism. The Gaia Research Center looms before Michael, a hulking fortress of lead-gray concrete, its thick walls pierced only by rows of tiny square windows. Michael stands in front of the iris scanner and steps out. He takes in a breath of fresh air. He spent half a year cooped up in his biological fortress cultivating cells. All the data's been uploaded? And we got a master's student this year? Nice. Michael forces himself to smile before his colleagues, grabs his backpack, and sprints to the shuttle bus as its doors are about to close. Sunlight filters through the canopy of lush trees on the university's campus. Dabbled lights paint the ground in emerald hues. He feels alive. Before graduation, with his thesis looming like a monster and job applications piling up, the only saving grace is art appreciation and criticism. It's a highly sought-after elective course. As he walks into the classroom, phone in hand, he sees the course evaluation system buzzing with comments. Comment: I'm wasting my time. I can't remember a word the professor said. I just zoned out while staring at his face. Comment: Here's what the professor says when he starts class. Sorry, wrong classroom. A chuckle escapes Michael's lips. Comment: Well, in this course, students from other facilities learn to appreciate art, while the art students learn criticism. It's not about criticizing art, it's about criticizing you. Michael nods, his smile widening. Comment: This professor must be a fish monster with the way he nitpicks everything. My work was nothing according to him. Comment: I know, right? He once told me that if eating fish made you smarter, you'd need the whole ocean. Michael throws his head back and laughs. Comment: Prepare to be shocked by the most elegant critique on the worst art, especially when that terrible art is mine. Comment: What's the best way to skip class? Bring a cat? But honestly, who would want to miss this? Michael grins. Every comment brings back his memories of Raphael. Chapter 2. Lesson 1. Michael noticed Raphael after seeing one of his paintings online. He couldn't grasp it on a professional level, but the colors vibrated with a beauty he couldn't deny. Arriving for the first class, the room was bursting with activity. Even the stairs were packed. Raphael stood gracefully by the podium, his voice weaving a tapestry of art appreciation and criticism. Still catching his breath, as he had to run from the lab, Michael scanned the room and finally found a spot. Hey, can you tell me what the third point on the slide was? Michael pulled out his laptop and nudged an engrossed classmate who appeared to be surprised. Seriously? You're here for art? Michael didn't know why the energy in the room was infectious. Laughter rippled through the crowd as Raphael threw out another witty remark. The gloom Michael had brought from the lab instantly disappeared. After class, Michael walked up to Raphael. His laptop screen opened to display his half-finished notes. Excuse me, Professor. I didn't really understand your last point about appreciation and interpretation. Can you explain it for me? The key to appreciating lies in trusting your gut, Raphael said. He helped Michael fill in the missing lecture content and glanced thoughtfully at Michael's notes. Grab that seat next time. You'll be in the front row, center stage. Surprised, Michael followed Raphael's gaze. He was flattered to see the spot in the front of the podium being offered. In his mind, artists were enigmatic and aloof. Meanwhile, scientists were the ones who valued clarity and communication. Earlier that day, a harsh scolding for questioning an overly aggressive experiment in the lab had left Michael jaded. He had never expected solace to come from a seemingly sharp-tongued artist, but Michael quickly discovered that Raphael needed his notes as a reminder. He was prone to losing his train of thought mid-lecture. Whenever Raphael's eyes met his, Michael flipped around his laptop screen, his notes typed up in large font for easy reading. It happens when your ideas get a little too tangled, Michael tried to explain for Raphael, then recalled the first painting that captivated him. The unforgettable colors and abstract patterns echoed the playful doodles he used to create in petri dishes. Chapter 3. True Colors. Michael initially saw Raphael's class as a welcome break from the lab, but the day Raphael unveiled his own work was when the art world would truly open its doors for Michael. To give students from other facilities a deeper understanding of art appreciation and criticism, Raphael presented one of his creations and let the art students critique it. As classmates showered the piece with praise, Michael felt a growing disconnect with them. Comments like, liberating yet short, separate brushstrokes, blurred edges that hide lines, and let colors flow with vibrant energy, and like a rapid sea current capturing the fleeting interplay of light and shadow. This flew over his head. He didn't understand a single bit. Now let's hear from the students from the other facilities, Raphael announced, his gaze landing on Michael. Nervous and tense, he scrambled to look for the notes from his first class. 1. Appreciation and criticism. The union of sensibility and reason. 2. Critique is a personal journey, shaped by an individual aesthetic preference. It's an active recreation by the viewer. 3. All appreciation is interpretation. The key to appreciation lies in trusting your gut. Taking a deep breath, Michael clenched his fists and stood up. His voice trembled slightly as he spoke. Okay, I know I'm not an art major like the rest of you. My understanding of art is, well, also limited. With a deep breath, he began to explain his interpretation. Honestly, it's a bit messy to me. The room went silent. Michael nervously glances at Raphael, only to find the professor tilting his head in encouragement. But the colors are strong. They work together, somehow. It's actually quite calming to look at, and peaceful. He lowered his head, the sweat prickling his back. Biology, right? Your artistic intuition is spot on, actually. This piece was just me venting my frustration at my agent. A few angry strokes to blow off steam, you know? Laughter rippled through the classroom and washed away the tension. Michael was surprised that Raphael even remembered his major. It was a small moment, but it shattered his perception of art as this complicated, unattainable world. He saw a young boy, once captivated by the vibrant colors of flowers and the diversity of animals. Now he was a young man trapped in a world of gray concrete buildings, peering under a microscope at the single color called LCMECs. Chapter 4. Absurdity and Negative Space. Raphael's classes weren't always sunshine and rainbows. During the midterm exam, Michael got his first taste of pressure. It was a practical exam. Art students brought in their creations for the class to appreciate and critique. When the exam was announced, Michael found it intriguing. But little did he know that the intrigue was reserved for non-art students. As the comments rolled in, it became clear. Art students were getting critiqued, while students from other facilities were learning to appreciate. Despite the low-key setup of the exposition, the nervous tension hung in the air. The usually free-spirited art students became surprisingly serious. When Raphael approached them, their fists were clenched. Michael might not understand everything on display, but certain pieces drew him in. One painting had a hazy, dreamlike quality, and Raphael commented on it. The intended blank is good, You can keep that. Now, let's think about the rest. Another was bursting with color and exaggerated strokes. It caught Michael's eye. Raphael made a gentle remark. Interesting. You're pioneering a new genre. Let's call it absurd abstraction. The student walked away while biting their lip. Under his breath, Raphael added, enough abstraction and way too much absurdity. This side of Raphael threw Michael for a loop. He realized that within the realm of art, Raphael can be surprisingly strict, bordering the aloofness even. Stepping out of the class with the creator of Absurd Abstraction piece, Michael couldn't help but comment. The professor can be tough during critiques. He doesn't even sugarcoat things. But I like your painting. The colors are cool. It's kind of cute. It's a bit out there, though. The student gave Michael a long look before they broke out into a fit of laughter. No wonder Raphael likes you. Michael's brow furrowed in confusion. The student explained. Enough abstraction and too much absurdity is similar to the out there part you mentioned. Wait, so he wasn't criticizing you? Art critique isn't always what you expect. Raphael didn't say it was bad. Whatever he acknowledges is a win for me. So, about the intended blank. Does keeping it mean erasing everything else? That's the tricky part. Using it well means your composition and concept are on point. Skills come with practice. Michael listened intently, and a bold idea for his final project blossomed in his mind. Chapter 5. Field Trip. As the semester was near its end, Raphael took his class on a field trip to a rural architectural gem, a place steeped in centuries of history. This small town boasted a treasure trove of well-preserved buildings, cloisters, courtyards, and halls tucked away within private homes. Michael always envisioned Raphael as a product of Verona's elite art world. Yet, here he was, effortlessly identifying the age of the resident's salted fish by scent and wielding a paper-cutting scissor to recreate building silhouettes. This down-to-earth side made Raphael seem more approachable. With free time on his hands, Michael wandered along the towering white wall, their withered surfaces adorned with moss. He couldn't help but be reminded of Raphael's paintings. As he turned the corner, he spotted Raphael sitting alone. He was on a stone bench in a secluded courtyard. Raphael stared straight ahead. In the courtyard, vibrant peonies bloomed, and a majestic sephora tree's canopy rose over a tall wall. Clusters of sephora flowers swayed gently in the breeze, like wind chimes. Even Michael couldn't deny the picturesque scene. He must be lost in an artistic contemplation. I shouldn't disturb him. Wait. Just as Michael prepared to leave, Raphael called out to him. You. Take that away. Michael scanned the courtyard, searching for anything out of place. He saw Raphael's furrowed brow. Raphael pointed at the sephora tree. That thing! Get rid of it! Quickly! Perched on the stone steps behind the tree was a chubby orange cat, easily 9 kilograms, meticulously grooming itself. It occasionally cast a disdainful glance at the two men. Suspicious, Raphael eyed the fat orange cat. But to his surprise, the cat rolled onto its back in an obvious display of trust. As Raphael let out a dramatic sniffle, Michael scooped up the cat and turned to face him. Raphael, however, averted his gaze and began walking out of the courtyard. With a curt nod, he acknowledged Michael. I'm glad you showed up, Michael. For a long time, it was the only interaction that put Michael at ease. It somehow lightened the 9-kilo cat in his arms. After all, back in the lab, he was just that Lincoln intern, or S460602, his staff number. The long, tree-lined path that leads to the memories of field trips fades into the distance. Raphael's final class is about to begin, and Michael can't shake that feeling that this might be the closest and last brush with art. Stepping into the familiar classroom, the scene mirrors the first class. Except now, Michael has his own designated spot. As he walks past the podium, a group of students huddles together, clearly hoping for leniency on their final grades. From behind, Raphael's voice cuts through. He's light on his feet, but firm in his tone. Teacher's guide, not cheat. The final class is a breeze. It's just an open discussion about the semester's journey. Conversations flow freely, weaving tales of discovery and newfound appreciation for beauty. A few students even present revised versions of their midterm projects, each retaining their unique style. Yet something has subtly changed. Michael can't quite put his finger on it, but he knows the abstract and the absurd are valid. And the intended blank can spark imagination that transcends others. Michael also brings his work, but he holds back until more students leave. Then he approaches Raphael and unfolds his meticulously prepared artwork. It's an image of the LCMECs, the cells from the lab where he spends most of his days and nights. LCMECs are a type of immortalized cell. They're not uncommon in the microscopic world, but they reminded me of your paintings. The splendid microscopic world, teeming with life under a high magnification, has become Michael's sanctuary in the sterile, gray lab. He steps forward, energized, but his next words are stuck in his throat. Raphael wasn't listening to him. His gaze is fixed, almost glued to the name of that cell. Confused by the professor's intense focus, Michael racks his brain to remember the full name of the cells. LCMECs. Cardiac, microvascular, endothelial cells. As for the first word, it was lem something. Chapter 6. LCMECs. Michael, are you already on your way to Ever HQ? 3 months in, huh? That's impressive. The elevator's door open and reveal a familiar face. He's 3 months out of grad school, and summer's golden grip loosens. An awkward silence hangs in the air until, like clockwork, someone pipes up. Michael flashes a smile. Hey, you doing good? I can't complain. A new intern discovered a pancreatic enzyme that almost is the same color as my growth medium and swapped it. How perfect is that? The cells haven't hit the Hayflick limit yet, but I'm already feeling fried. Realizing his voice has gotten a bit loud, he coughs and quickly switches to a hushed tone. Listen, HQ's a jungle. Keep your head on a swivel and don't get lost in your work like you always do. Thanks, but... Michael hesitates and then leans in to question his senior colleague. Just out of curiosity, where do LCMECs come from? Be careful with that curiosity of yours. HQ keeps that under wraps. Besides, what good would come out of having such knowledge? Michael wasn't entirely sure himself. Based on that first word, lem something, a wild guess forms in his mind. But that civilization is long gone. How could life still exist? Exiting the building, his colleague waves goodbye and sprints for the shuttle bus. Michael is left alone under the vast, gray structure. He glances back, and the setting sun is partially obscured. This mirrors the scene from that final art appreciation class. At that time, in the empty classroom, Raphael held Michael's LCMEC's image and walked to the window and slowly lifted the artwork. The setting sun, just like today's, cast a soft glow through the paper. A gust of wind tapped the window, and the microscopic universe on the paper seemingly came alive. Tiny colored blocks transformed into miniature colorful fish, their tails flickering as they dance from Raphael's fingertips into the dusty air. Professor? Michael approached him cautiously, unsure if he should interrupt. Question. Do you typically extract cells from living subjects? Or are they... Michael was surprised by Raphael's unexpected inquiry. It depends. Honestly, I'm not privy to that information. I'll have to check with the lab next time I'm there. I'll put in a request. Don't worry. I was just curious. But tell me, what do you think of these cells? They're a perfect blend of biology and art. They make me see life as an art form. Honestly, Professor, the lab work can be boring sometimes. I almost lost my passion for research. But these cells are incredible. Not only are they beautiful, but they seem to hold secrets about life itself. Maybe the microscopic world is just as rich and colorful as the one you paint. That makes me want to keep exploring it. A genuine smile graced Raphael's lips as he lowered his arm and turned to face Michael. His posture remained as poised and elegant as when they first met. Yeah. Biology is a fascinating subject. It reveals the underlying colors of all life on Earth. It's a masterpiece painted by nature itself. He handed the cell image back to Michael. Then, he turned and walked away from the window. Michael, if you achieve great things in biology, never forget that.